The corner cafe was Ryan's sanctuary. Every Saturday morning, he brought his 6-year-old daughter Emma here for pancakes and hot chocolate. It was their tradition, their special time together in a life that had been anything but easy since his wife died 3 years ago. At 35, Ryan Porter looked like any other tired single dad. His jeans were worn, his flannel shirt had seen better days, and the circles under his eyes spoke of too many late nights working construction jobs to keep food on the table. What people couldn't see was the 8 years he'd spent in Delta Force. 2 tours in places that didn't officially exist, doing things that would never appear in any public record. He'd left that life behind when Emma was born. Wanted to be a present father, not a ghost who disappeared for months at a time. Then cancer took his wife, and Ryan became both parents to a little girl who'd already lost too much. "Daddy, can I have extra whipped cream?" Emma asked, her brown eyes hopeful. "Of course, princess." Ryan signaled the waitress, "Anything you want." The cafe door opened with more force than necessary. 3 men walked in, the kind who brought tension with them like a weather front. The leader was tall, muscular, dressed in expensive workout gear that screamed money and ego. His 2 friends flanked him like an entourage. They scanned the crowded cafe. Every table was taken except for the small 2-seater where Ryan and Emma sat by the window. The leader walked directly to their table. "You, move. I want this spot." Ryan looked up calmly. "There are other tables opening up. We just got our food. I don't care about your food. I want the window seat. Now." His voice carried across the cafe, making people turn to look. Ryan kept his tone even, unthreatening. "Sir, we'll be done in about 20 minutes. You're welcome to wait." The man's face reddened. "Do you know who I am? I'm Derek Vaughn. I own 3 gyms in this city. When I want something, people give it to me." "That's nice. We're still finishing our breakfast." Derek leaned down, putting his hands on their table, deliberately invading their space. "Listen, you broke deadbeat. I can buy this entire cafe. I can buy 10% of whatever crappy apartment you probably live in. So when I tell you to move, you move." Emma shrank back in her seat, frightened by the aggressive stranger. Ryan felt the old instincts kick in. The cold assessment, the threat evaluation, the calculations his body made automatically after years of training. "Please step back from my daughter," Ryan said quietly. "Or what?" Derek straightened up, smirking. "What's some poor single dad going to do about it? You going to fight me? Look at you. You probably can't even afford a gym membership." Ryan stood slowly, deliberately positioning himself between Derek and Emma. "I'm asking you politely to leave us alone, that's all. Just walk away. I don't think you understand how this works." Derek's voice got louder, playing to the audience now. "People like you don't tell people like me what to do. You're nobody. A broke loser raising a kid alone because your wife probably left you for someone better." "My wife died," Ryan said, his voice dangerously quiet now. "And you need to step away from my daughter. Last warning, or what?" Derek shoved Ryan's shoulder. "You going to do something about it? Huh? You going to—" Then he did it. Derek drew his hand back and slapped Ryan across the face. Hard. The crack echoed through the suddenly silent cafe. Emma gasped, tears springing to her eyes. "Daddy!" Ryan's head barely moved from the impact. He stood perfectly still, his cheek reddening, every muscle in his body coiled with the kind of control that came from thousands of hours of training. "Sweetheart," Ryan said, his voice absolutely calm, "I need you to close your eyes for a minute. Can you do that for Daddy?" "I'm scared," Emma whispered. "I know, baby, but everything's going to be okay. Just close your eyes and count to 10. Derek laughed. "Oh, this is precious. What are you going to—" Ryan moved. It happened so fast that most people in the cafe missed it. One moment Derek was standing there, smirking. The next, he was face down, on the floor, with his arm locked behind his back at an angle that suggested any movement would result in a dislocated shoulder. The entire takedown took less than 2 seconds. Ryan's voice remained calm, almost conversational. "I spent 8 years in Delta Force. I've been trained to neutralize threats with minimal force. You slapped me in front of my daughter. You terrified a 6-year-old girl. So I'm going to give you a choice." Derek struggled, then yelped as Ryan applied pressure to the joint lock. "Choice 1. You apologize to my daughter. You leave this cafe quietly. You never come back. And we all forget this happened. Let me go. I'll sue you. Choice 2, Ryan continued, as if Derek hadn't spoken. I explained to the police what happened. We review the security footage showing you assaulting me first. Then I mentioned that I perceived a continued threat to my child and responded with appropriate defensive force. Given my background and training, I can articulate exactly why every move I made was justified and necessary. Ryan's 2 friends had stepped back, hands raised, wanting no part of whatever was happening. Here's what you don't know about me, Ryan said quietly. I've fought in places you can't imagine against people who would eat someone like you for breakfast. I've protected people, saved lives, done things I'll never talk about. But the most important mission I've ever had is being a father to that little girl. And you just threatened her safety. He applied a bit more pressure, so I'm going to ask you once, what's your choice? Okay, I'm sorry. Derek's voice was high with pain and fear now. Ryan released him immediately, stepping back and returning to a non-threatening posture. Derek scrambled to his feet, cradling his arm. The girl, Ryan said, apologized to her. Derek turned to Emma, his face red with humiliation. I'm sorry I scared you. Emma peeked out from behind her hands, then looked at her father. Ryan nodded that it was okay. You were mean, Emma said, her voice small but brave. My daddy's the best daddy in the world. You shouldn't say mean things about people you don't know. Derek's face went even redder. Without another word, he and his friends hurried out of the cafe. Ryan sat back down, his hands shaking now that the adrenaline was fading. You okay, princess? Emma nodded. That was scary. But you protected me, always will. The cafe owner approached, a woman in her 50s with kind eyes. Sir, I saw everything. That man has been a problem before, bullying customers, causing scenes. Thank you for handling it the way you did. Breakfast is on the house. For the next month, actually. Other customers started clapping. An older man stood up. Son, thank you for your service, both to the country and to standing up to bullies. Ryan just nodded, uncomfortable with the attention. He focused on Emma, making sure she was really okay, that the incident hadn't traumatized her. As they finished their pancakes, a woman in business attire approached their table. She handed Ryan a card. I'm Catherine Mills. I run a private security firm. We specialize in executive protection and threat assessment. If you're interested in work that pays better than construction and actually uses your skills, call me. Ryan looked at the card. Executive protection, better pay, more stable hours. The chance to use his training for something meaningful again. Thank you, he said. I'll call. That phone call led to a job interview, which led to a position that changed Ryan's life. Within 6 months, he was making 3 times his construction salary, protecting corporate executives and their families. The flexible schedule meant more time with Emma, not less. The skills he'd thought he'd left behind became his greatest asset. A year later, Ryan was walking Emma to school when she asked, Daddy, do you ever wish you could still be a soldier? No, baby. No, why? Why? Because being your dad is better than any mission I ever had. Soldiers protect people from bad guys. But being a dad means I get to protect you, teach you, watch you grow. That's not just a mission. That's a privilege. Emma took his hand. That man in the cafe was wrong, wasn't he? You're not nobody. You're my daddy, and you're a hero. Ryan felt his throat tighten. You're my hero, Emma. You're the reason I became better than I was. The incident at the cafe became a story Ryan rarely told, but it taught him something important. For years, he'd thought leaving Delta Force meant leaving his purpose behind. He thought the skills he'd learned were only useful in combat. But protecting his daughter from a bully in a cafe was no less important than any mission he'd run overseas. Teaching her that strength meant staying calm under pressure, that real men didn't need to prove themselves through aggression, that you could be dangerous and kind at the same time. Those were lessons worth more than any medal. Derek Vaughn, for his part, never returned to that cafe. Word spread about what happened, and his tough guy reputation never quite recovered. People who'd been intimidated by his money and muscles suddenly saw him differently, as someone who'd picked on a single father and gotten humiliated for it. Ryan's new career flourished. His Delta Force background, combined with his obvious integrity and restraint, made him invaluable. Clients trusted him not just to protect them, but to make good decisions under pressure, to use force only when necessary, to prioritize de-escalation over dominance. Emma grew up watching her father be strong without being cruel, confident without being arrogant. She learned that real power was knowing when not to use it, that the scariest people were often the quiet ones who didn't need to prove anything. Years later, when Emma was applying to colleges, she wrote her admissions essay about that morning in the cafe, about watching her father get slapped and respond with perfect control, about learning that strength meant protecting others, not dominating them. My father taught me that day that the greatest power is choosing not to use all the power you have, she wrote. He could have seriously hurt that man. His training gave him a dozen ways to do it. Instead, he chose the minimum force necessary to keep me safe and teach my bully a lesson about consequences. That's the kind of strength I want to have in my life. The strength to be kind even when you have every right to be cruel. Sometimes the most dangerous people in a room are the ones who don't look dangerous at all. Sometimes the tired dad in worn jeans has lived a life most people can't imagine. And sometimes the best use of lethal skills is choosing never to use them at all, because Ryan had faced terrorists and insurgents, had operated in the deadliest environments on Earth. But nothing had ever been more important than being a good father to a little girl who'd already lost her mother. And if that meant taking a slap to teach a bully about real strength, that was a mission worth completing. If this story moved you, please like and share it with someone who knows that real strength is staying calm when you could destroy. Subscribe for more stories about quiet heroes and choosing restraint over violence, and comment about a time when someone's composure in crisis taught you about real courage. Those moments matter.